why do we consider Jesus God?
Because he claimed to be God. We obviously don't accept Christ being God just because he claimed to be. Plenty of nut jobs in mental hospitals claim to be God. There are 3 Christs in Ypsilanti, a mental hospital in Ypsilanti, Michigan. And they all are convinced they're the Messiah, and they're mentally unstable. So, why do we believe that when Jesus claimed to be God, he was speaking the truth? Because the evidence of the way he lived, taught, died, and rose from the dead is that he's not a nut job. He's the truth. What is that evidence specifically? First of all, what he taught. If you read the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew chapters 5, 6, and 7, it's obviously ethical genius. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. If someone strikes you on the right cheek, turn to them the other also. You've heard that it was said, love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. Do not worry about your life, which you will eat or drink, or about your body, which you will wear. Is not life more important than food, and the body more important than clothes? Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they? So he's an ethical genius, obviously, which demands respect. Secondly, not only does he teach an amazingly high ethical standard, he lives up to that standard. He lived a sinless life. I have tried to live a sinless life. I have failed miserably. If you don't believe me, just talk to my wife and sons. They will verify that fact. I have failed miserably to try and live a good, perfect life. I am a sinner. But Christ didn't. In John chapter 8, he could look into the faces of his enemies and say, which one of you can prove me guilty of sin? His enemies were silent. So he lived an amazing life that demands respect. Thirdly, at the moment of his most excruciating pain, as he's nailed to a wooden crossbeam, instead of cursing his enemies the way I would have, he prays, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. That demands respect. But fourthly, and most importantly, 3 days after he dies, he rises from the dead, and over a period of 40 days, he appears to over 500 people who see him risen from the dead. That is why when Jesus claims to be God, I don't conclude he's a nutcase. Instead, the evidence of his life, teachings, death, and resurrection point to his trustworthiness, his credibility.